Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Guest Safety Officer. Now, first of all, because my manners I've been told to improve my manners. First of all, I've got to say hi to Gary. Hi, Gary.
Hello, Ian. Thank you for introducing me for a change, because normally you leave me out on the sidelines because you like that for some strange reason. But
Yeah,
thank you, Ian.
it's funny. That's why I do it. Well, I find it funny. But apparently not. I've also got to do a couple of shout outs today as well. Thank you for all the people that have engaged. I did promise Alex that I would give him a shout for his comments about YouTube and the suggestions that he's made about keeping it shorter, which we're going to try and do, honestly, because it is a bit of a long time and I do drone on. So Gary is going to introduce this next segment, and off you go, Gary.
Thanks, Ian. Well, the first part of the segment, we have Leander. She wants to know about your teeth. Are they yours?
Oh, right. Well, in the interest of honesty, yeah, no, of course not. Look at it. I'm not an American, have a chat, but they're wonderful. I enjoy them.
They look great, mate. It suits you.
They do. They do look good. They certainly look better than the ones I had before, the real ones that fell out. Do you know how they got to start falling out?
No, mate.
Is I was working as a DJ, mate. Me and the manager were having a mess around after the show had finished, and he decided to do some what do you call it, WWE move on me, a worldwide wrestler thing, and he dropped me on my head, and it loosened my teeth, and strangely enough, that one tooth shifted all of them, and gradually they all fallen out. So now, yeah, I'm a toothless tiger in every sense of the word.
Thank you for that, Ian. Thank you. But getting on to the points this week is we're doing a roundup. We're going to round up what we've seen this week, what's gone on. Especially one of the videos I put up on LinkedIn regarding a security officer in MacDonalds.
Yeah, I saw that.
That was a good one. We got Stephen Petter put up a big thing on LinkedIn as well regarding him working as a trainer and as a security officer out on the ground.
Yeah.
And generally, the whole thing is we're going to be winding up what we're going to be doing in the next few weeks.
Well, yes, some of it seems quite exciting. But then again, I'm always excited, as you know. So, what was the first thing then? This nice thing. I did see it.
So the first thing is happening in McDonald's, of all places. McDonald's seems to be one of the most violent places in the world now at weekends. I don't know why. I mean, it used to be a family-friendly place when I was growing up, and you get a burger for 99 pence, whatever it was. But now we've got young people going in there storming. Is it storming the place?
Storming. Well, we've heard a couple of seizing. There's certainly steaming in my, in my day. That's for sure. But storming is now, because we've got to have a different look on it now, haven't we? Otherwise, we won't be cool.
So we had a security officer in there, and one of the young people decided to pull out something. It looked like, it's hard to say, a good 8 to 12-inch blade, and wave it around a McDonald's. Eventually they left. No one was harmed as far as we know. There was no arrest made. But the fact is, why is there a lone security guard by himself in that situation?
Well, yes, and there's a couple of things there, Gary. First of all is, well, hang on a second. Entertainment, where's the entertainment in that? Where's the nighttime economy in this, or whatever you could say? He's working in a retail unit and he's a fast food. But the whole point of this guest safety officer, his job is there not to protect the burgers or ensure that you've got an extra smooth Mr. Whippy or whatever it is that they sell these days, McFlurry. I hope we're going to get some sponsorship from McDonald's now for this. We want money. We are poor people. And bearing that in mind, can you please press like and subscribe? We appreciate it all. Anyway, the thing about it is they're all part of the same job, because our job is to bring joy. That's what we do. We, guest safety officers, enable people, or are supposed to be enabled to enable people to enjoy, relax, and make the most of the time with their friends, family, in whichever setting they're in. But, you know, am I wrong about that, Gary?
Not at all. I mean, you just said there, you know, the days of us being, let's use that word loosely, which I hate, bouncer.
Yeah.
I've got a new shirt statement now, hashtag I'm not a bouncer.
Yeah,
We put it as t-shirts. But the thing about it is, you know, we are there to make sure everyone is safe. You know, and that's the principle, whether it's a nightclub, a bar, a hotel, a static site where you're looking after the office blocks. We're there to make sure everybody's safe. You know, and McDonald's is, you know, why McDonald's having to have security there for a start, and why is it the breakdown so bad that McDonald's needs security there? And now you've got young people in there storming with big kitchen knives.
Well, there is that. I'm gonna strangely enough, let's get straight to our first topic of disagreement. I disagree. I don't think guest safety officers are there to protect office blocks. I think that's the job of a security guard, a man guard. That's the kind of stuff that I would expect G4S, Mighty, etc. to do. It's not. You know, they are there to control access, etc., etc. A guest safety officer deals directly with the public. That's what we do. We're straight in with the public. And our job, therefore, is to help manage that. But that's my view.
That is your view. But as you said, any security officer is working in a static building. The first thing they're doing is they're the first people on call. They're the first people you're going to meet. They're dealing with customers coming in, clients coming in. They're there to meet and greet. They're there to look after stuff. They're also there for first aid needs. I mean, I've been in this position myself over the years. I've been there. I've been a static officer. And it's the same thing, but okay, it's not a licensed premises.
Exactly.
It's not
a licensed premises. There are no licenses. There are no additional regulations that go on there. And it is, which is why, Gary, in my opinion, it is completely different. And I too have been a static guard. I've done that. One of the first things I ever did was wander around the factory in the dead of night, you know, for about a week before. Well, I did. To be honest, I know I'd been in the army, etc., but it was a creaky old place, old factory that was about 100 years old in Leicester, and God, I was scared, to be honest. It made me laugh. Been shot at, but the idea that I might be captured by some ghost, you know, or had the thing frightened the life out of me. So I left after a week. I'm quite happy to deal with people, but not ghosts. Anyway, that's a different thing. The point is, one is asset protection, and I know that CP may have a different view of what an asset is. My view is that people, we are people. That is what we do. We look after people, not buildings. We don't check and make sure that Mrs. Miggins, you know, can get to the office of the chairman. Our job is to make sure that Mrs. Miggins can come out, get wasted with her mates if she wants to do that. Not that I would recommend it, obviously, not a sensible thing to do, but we're here to facilitate the enjoyment of after work, if you like, but outside of the working environment for other people. That's just my view.
Well, we're going to agree to disagree on that.
Yeah.
Save this for another day.
Let's have, and I hope anybody who's listening to this and has heard that, let's have some comments here. Let's have some reactions. Obviously, anybody who votes for me, says Ian's right, is right, and anybody who says Gary did, don't go with Gary. But let us know your thoughts. Yeah,
absolutely on that.
So yeah, but the point was we got a bloke, a young lad, and they were all young lads as far as I could tell, wandering around, coming in a team, in a unit, and potentially causing disruption, dismay, and harm to the customers, the business, and and they chased that security guard into the toilets, didn't they, or wherever?
Chased him somewhere, but the fact is, can you blame the person? You know, you don't need to be flipping cut up. You know, we don't get paid enough money as it is, and at the end of the day, if we're looking at the training, what training is? I mean, what's the SIH version? Let's all have our hands up. There's your first point of cut there.
Yeah,
hands up, stand back, slash, plonk. You know, that's your first point we don't really want to be dealing with. You know, so that goes back to previous training conversations about training. You know,
hence always wear neoprene. Is it neoprene gloves or some kind of slash proof gloves? Not that I would recommend, you know, grabbing hold of a knife or doing anything like that, but you know, you're on your own. And we come back to the situation there, and this is something that I do think that I have actually written about before, well, years ago, about one-man doors. If you need, and it's now proven, if you need one person to provide security in a venue, then we know that by default, we know then that there may arise, that situations may arise where you've got to remove or eject someone or ask them to leave, in which case that's a two-man job. You need two people to do that safely.
See, that's a very good point. I don't know if I've ever spoken to you about one of my lads who used to work for me back in 2018. He was Sunday evening. The client wanted, normally it's a 2 to 3 person venue, but on Sundays, because the numbers go down, they request it's one person. Obviously, licensing, the local licensing authority happy for that one person. The SIA state it's one person per 100. I don't know where they get their figure from, but things. Anyway, this gentleman was dealing with a situation. The situation fell apart. He ended up getting his neck broken.
Yeah.
My officer got his neck broken. Now, who's responsible for that? You know, us as a company, or the company I was working for at the time, or it was my company at the time, I should say. My insurance, well, it's not your problem. You've done everything right. We've got all the AIs in place. We've done everything correctly. So who is to blame? The person on the ground? Was it the security officer's fault? Could he have done something else? Could he have done something different? Well, that's the next question. But he followed our procedures, body worn camera, everything down the line. Everything was filled in correctly. So he done everything he could. But the fact is, you know, he couldn't stop the person suddenly going around attacking him and basically dropping on his head.
Yeah.
And the point I'm making on this is you go back to this one person doors or one person venues, one person sites. Who makes the rules for that? And this he can never work in security again. You know, the neck wasn't broken that badly, you know, but he can never work security. He can never play football or never do stuff he likes again because the point where the impact on the neck. So who is it? Is it the license holder? Well, the license holder's not to blame. The SA don't accept credibility for it. The licensing don't accept credibility for it. So they throw it back on him.
Well, do you think so? Let's because you know, let's move straight on. First of all, it is not the SIA's responsibility to determine what the licensing conditions are for any particular venue or festival. That rests purely with the licensing authority. The choice as to whether a person works in a single person venue or not is entirely theirs. You know, I would always say, don't go because you're mad. There's nothing that's worth. Yes, everything might go all right for a period, but inevitably, it's going to go wrong at some point. And I've seen this. in, lots of places around the country. I remember a particular instance in Nottingham where a door supervisor, guest safety officer, etc., licensed, all of the bits and pieces, was given a proper shoeing, proper kicking. And and this is what really winds me up, is landlords and owners and operators of these companies, they put the licensee, they say, well, the licensee is able, technically, because it's their premises, to eject. So help eject or whatever. But of course, they're not going to do it. So what they fulfill the license requirement, because there's 2 people there. If it's a quiet night, there's 200. But this woman who was there in Nottingham, she was like 58 and about 4'9". Great licensee, fantastic person, but was never going to get involved. So it's got to be realistic. There has to be a divorce. There has to be a separation of roles. If you're putting a door supervisor, guest safety officer, whatever you think, whichever it's called, if you're putting them in that position at that time, then you've got to have the proper support.
And going back to the McDonald's case,
yeah,
there you go. He's by himself, no support, and no. Can you blame him for locking himself away, or if he did lock himself away? Not at all. Because why should he be another statistic? Why should he be the person on the ground injured?
Yeah.
We spoke about training. There's not training provided for that. And again, looking at the other angle is we don't have anything to defend ourselves with apart from stand back, which they like us to stand out very loudly. Stand back all the time. Open palm, make sure it's open palm. De-escalation skills, and I think the new line is they're thrown out now is you do have the right to defend yourself in these situations.
Yeah, there's the good of them, but you always did have the right to defend yourself.
Right. That is the law. You have the legal right to defend yourself. But the indoctrination which they're doing is they don't want you to do that. They're throwing it out every week. You're there for the customers and de-escalate before you get hands on, and let's not put this on and let's not do that. Hang on, there's a guy at McDonald's with a 12-inch knife waving it around, trying to put it in somebody.
That knife's got bigger. It was 7 inches when we started, then it was 8. Now it's 12. How big is it going to be before we finish, Gary? You know what I mean?
Well, I've told you
a sword in a minute.
This way, a million times in, I like to over-exaggerate.
It's right. It's that thing. And Excalibur will be used fairly shortly. But what is important, and I think it's before we bring this particular issue to a close, is the companies. So McDonald's on this particular occasion, it's great with whatever, and it's anybody. They know what's going on. It's a burger. It's a burger. The whatever it is, Mc 99p or whatever price it is at this rate. That is what they're asking somebody to put their life at risk for. They sell loads of them.
That's right.
Why not instead, charge more for the burger so that they can put on the correct level of security or an appropriate level of security in order to manage those situations. Now, I can tell you this, the immediate net effect of that, people won't do it. One thing I've learned in life is that when you are faced with the prospect of things going wrong, in a way that may hurt you or may not benefit you physically, financially, legally, if there's the more chances you've got of getting caught, then the less likely it is that somebody will do that. Obviously, it would be great if this was then subsequently followed up by the legal system. And by that, I don't mean the coppers, I mean the legal system. that they come in and they properly prosecute these people that do this, because they are a menace to society. We did that. Well, then these venues are going to make more money, because people will come to them because it's safe. You know, the same applies in nightclubs, at festivals. It's a false economy. And remember, guest safety officers, what we do, we're there to bring joy, not ruin people's night. Like, we are not the fun police.
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all. Not.
So what was the next? Yeah, I thought I enjoyed that. Have you finished? Is there anything else you'd like to add on that?
Well, so we meant to have Steve Petter on today. I say he couldn't make it, but the thing about which he brought up, which we were talking about previously. Again, he trains and he teaches, and he also works the weekends.
Yeah.
And one of the things he brought up in one of his was it called statements or things he wrote.
Yeah, I saw his post.
The fact is, again, we're out there doing the job, as you said, it's guest safety officers to look after people. And I think it was on a Friday or Saturday night. He got punched in the face, he got spat on, and what can he do about it? And everyone's out there filming, and if he does something, he's the one shown in a bad light. You don't see the fact that he's been punched in the face. You don't see the fact he's been spat on. And again, they're all there with their cameras. If he does something, he's the person in the wrong, or that officer's the person in the wrong. So that was his first point. His second point was he actually trained a person, or he refused to train this person because they weren't fit for purpose. And he literally told this person they weren't fit for purpose.
Sorry, guy. How did he know that? Was this on the same night, or
no? This is a different night. This is one of it on his blog.
Yeah,
this person they came for him for training to become a door supervisor. He went, your best position is probably best be a security guard. You're not really fit to be a door supervisor. I advise you go and get your security guard license, man the gates, do vehicle registrations. This is your role. This is what you should really feel. You're not really fit for purpose to be a DS. So he rejected him from doing the course. Anyway, someone passed him, and this person is now out and about, standing there on a door, on a venue, and he's not fit for purpose. So
was that the guy who was on a one-man door? He was actually the person who I think told Steve said the guy was out working on a one-man door.
And as I say, you got Steve saying, he shouldn't be there, but there he is. He's in his jacket on a one-man door. And there's hundreds of these guys out there. Probably not hundreds, there's thousands of them. Absolutely thousands. Guys who are not fit for purpose. But that was his blog, and that's my little bit at the end of it. There's thousands of them out there. Thousands of these guys with licenses who are not really fit for purpose and have got a security edge. But that goes back to our previous conversation about training.
Yeah, it does. It does. Yeah, in fact, it emphasizes it quite well. It's about finding and what Alex was saying about he said people should go and look at the last video we did about how to find a training provider. And I totally and utterly agree with him. They should. But who's going to direct them to it? That's the first thing. First of all, you've got to know that you've got to go and look.
That's right.
And then when we get to the point, as I said, about the training, it's a tick box event, and as a tick box event, content dumping, it means nothing. It doesn't achieve or help anyone in that situation. Certainly not good for public safety. I mean, Gary?
Of course it isn't, but there's always going to be, like we said before, there's always going to be that cheaper security company. There's always going to be that training provider who's going to get that person through. There's nothing we can do about it at the moment. Hopefully one day we can, but at the moment it's always going to be there, Ian, and it is.
Yeah, but if you don't say anything, then nothing changes.
Well, that's the purpose why we're here, Ian. To encourage people out here to start saying stuff. That's why we're going to be that sounding board to try and get this change. It's most important. There's a lot of people wanting change. There's lots of people crying out for change, or they're saying they're going to do change. But until, you know, people start, like ourselves, standing up on our soapboxes and encouraging more people to stand up and say stuff, we're not going to get the change.
And and again, this is one of the things that annoys me in terms. But I just want to touch on training again, just going back. Yeah, as you recall, I spoke last week about the AO reports that I did. You know, where 95% and 86%. I actually found them. I went back and dug them out. And it was quite interesting because in 2012, when I conducted these for OfQual, I said there and then that the units that I was reviewing weren't fit for purpose. They just weren't fit for purpose because they tested. They did nothing to actually provide any real practical assessment of ability. It was all about theory, and it was the questions were all very focused on things that the teacher, your trainer would deal with. And I said there and there, it wasn't fit because it impacted on the then door supervisors, guest safety officers, legal standing. Because if they get something wrong, and I think, yes, it was Alex who mentioned, they go to jail. If you're getting it wrong, as a guest safety officer, it's do not pass go, do not collect £200, get straight to jail. That doesn't seem fair to me.
Not at all.
But still, it's just fine. But yes, we must crack on, and we must encourage people. Don't call yourselves bouncers. I was talking to someone who we're going to speak to next week, a lovely lady called Sarah Walker, and she is, she's an absolute expert on the nighttime economy and purple flag, and she's I can't mansplain her, can I? Because that's it. But she'll be here to have a conversation with us both about violence against women and girls, and what we as professionals, or as a professional sector, guest safety professionals, we can do to help support that, not just for women and girls, but also for everyone who comes into our environment and wants to feel the joy, because that's what we deliver.
We certainly do. And on that point, I mean, we've actually got a survey going out at the moment, which we've sent out to quite a few people. And I think the Plymouth Patriots cheerleaders have come back with a lot of information.
Oh, that's brilliant.
Regarding this, about how they feel when they go out. Also, we've put it on our Facebook page. We put it on our Instagram page regarding and sending questions out regarding how do you feel safe, or do you feel safe when you go out, and if you don't feel safe, reason why. So hopefully by next week I have the full results for you on that, in what people have said, or what majority of people have said, them being females and males. Everyone's had a chance, and transgender people have also received this as well. So hopefully we've covered the whole arc of everyone, why they, if they don't feel safe, and why they don't feel safe.
Well, it's a thing. I mean, it's great to have a Vox Pox. God, that doesn't sound good. A Vox Pop. Yeah, pop. Which quick survey like this will be useful, regardless of the amount of replies that we get. It'll give an indicator, which will be useful to add to our discussions with Sarah. And I'm sure Sarah will probably like to, meet, greet, and talks and these. Do you think we can get a cheerleader on?
I think we might be able to.
Is that wrong, considering? what we're talking about. I don't know if that would be entirely appropriate. To misuse of our.
I'm sure we might be able to get the person who choreographs it, who's in charge of them.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, an appropriate thing.
Person.
An appropriate person. That would be handy. All right. That sounds good. What else have we got coming up in the next couple of weeks, Gary?
No, I think we're trying to get Mr. David Reubens from the Institute, or the Institute of Risk of Strategic Management on. We're just trying to finalise that. So that's looking forward to that. And also, I've been speaking to Dawn. I cannot remember her last name.
Dawn Dines.
Dawn Dines, there you go. The spiking person. Hopefully, we're going to get her on. We're having a chat about spiking in the nighttime economy. And, you know, she's sort of giving a positive side to it. So that'll be an interesting chat about spiking in the nighttime economy and how we can deal with it and her views on it.
Oh, no, that's brilliant. And it's nice to see that, you know, we are trying to demonstrate that we're here for everybody, because, as I'm sure Sarah will say, security, guest safety in particular, is potentially a great career for all, and especially women. And Gordon Bennett, women only make up about 1 or 10% of the industry, 10, 11%, I think it is, of the industry. And the industry's crying out for females.
Absolutely.
But that's good.
Don't forget, my boss who runs this company is a female.
Rightly so.
There you go.
Rightly so. It's good we got somebody controlling you, whilst I'm so far away. But the other side, the other thing that, of course, we're going to do now. Not sure if we can do this in a fortnight's time, next week, or it'll have to be in a fortnight. But we're going to run a live stream event from 2 or 3 in the morning for a couple of hours. And what we're hoping, we're going to call it the after party, so that you can come and join us, add your comments, tell us what you've been up to. If you contact us via YouTube or et cetera, we'll get the message. If we see if we can get you on board, you can give a shout out to where you've been, your team, et cetera. Get involved. It will be a live stream. As I say, I of course will be, I'll be in my house. Yeah, but I will be cheering you all on, and I want you to know that. Yeah. But we'll look forward. So if you all around the country, anybody at all who wants to get involved, please let us know. It'll be on Twitch, on Guest Safety TV. That's the one.
And on that point, I will be working that night, so I will be going live in full kit out on the ground at one of our venues. So you'll be seeing me out there, full bells and whistles, doing what I do best.
Well, I'll be drinking cocoa. That's what I do best at that time of night. I'll be having a cocoa, maybe a cup of tea. Yeah, probably being shouted at by the missus to keep quiet.
Probably.
That's probably what's going to happen. But still, we can only do. Sorry.
I said, and for me, anything can happen that night. So there you go.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. All right. Thank you very much for your time again, Gary. It's been great as ever. Don't forget, boys and girls, men and women, press the subscribe button, press the like button, tell your friends, come and join us, because we're going to be here again, definitely next. We'll be doing the show on Wednesday, and we'll be doing a roundup again probably next Tuesday. Now, when these are going to come out, I do not know, because once we finished here, I have to spend quite a bit of time editing everything, making sure it looks right. Most of the editing I do on Gary, obviously, but not really. We don't edit it. It goes straight out, but I'm going to put them into sizable clips. I've been told to cut the clips, to do clips now. So I am going to cut it up and put them out as little separate things over the course of today and in future, so that you can browse them at your leisure. All right, I'll see you later. What about you, Gary?
Well, I'll see you soon, Ian, I suppose.
Yeah, what do you mean? Think you could sound a little bit more excited. I'm excited to see you, mate.
Well, I'll be seeing you soon, Ian, and wishing everyone a safe week ahead.
Yeah, be brilliant. It's been fantastic. See you soon. Cheers.